Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of The Sunken Submarine. I'm Sammy, here with David.
Hey, guys.
And it is crazy to think that we are now starting up our second season. So, if you guys are new to us, feel free to stick with us, pick us up right here and just go through Season 2, or go back through and listen to Season 1 if you want. It's up to you guys, and for everybody that has been with us from Season 1, welcome back. It's good to be back. Feels really good.
It feels good. I'm happy about this.
All
break, I was looking at songs and listening to stuff. Or any time that I did, I would think like, I wish I could talk about that with Sammy right now. And we did.
Oh, I mean, there were some times where I was sending you, I don't know, a YouTube video or whatever, and I was like, hey, check this out. And you're like, I'm on break right now. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I love this stuff. So, anyways.
It's not all good news. I will say, I looked it up. It's actually been 13,921 days.
Holy cow.
Since John Lennon died.
We're almost in 14,000 range now.
We're almost in 14,000, and when we get there, I don't know what we're going to do, but
the house is going to burn down.
Yeah. The submarine will, it might start to intake water.
And sink?
And be sunken.
Uh-oh. Anyways, R.I.P. to our legend, John Lennon.
Rest in peace.
He was a good one.
So what are we covering in today's episode?
All right, so in today's episode, it's a little bit different. We're maintaining our overall format from Season 1, but we also have a lot in store this year. We are also trying to plan, to use, we're producing a little more content for our YouTube page. We're going to be filming ourselves and then posting it on YouTube with the podcast, or either sections from the podcast, whatever we end up doing. And then, as of right now, it's just a one-camera setup. Hello? And then from there, we're going to jump into maybe a 2 or 3 camera setup. I just have to format some SD cards and things like that so we can get that rolling. Eventually, we would love to do a live podcast. David keeps trying to promote this to me. We're going to try and figure this out. It's going to take a bit of time, but once we figure it out, I'd say later on in the season, we're going to try and kick out some live podcasts. And then from there, we are going to, take call-ins and some other live activities. I don't know, some hooligan things to do. And then after that, we're also going to try and get, or even before that, we may try and get musicians, whether it's local musicians or, some type of musicians around the area, that we're going to try and get to come in and do some interviews with us and just talk about, the creation process of music and how it is performing and what they feel like. So that's
right. So if you are a musician and you want to promote yourself a little bit, reach out to us. We will bring you on if we think that it makes sense. And if you are not a musician and you know somebody that is, let them know that this is a place where they could come potentially.
Agreed. And we're willing to interview with anybody for sure, because I think that will help everybody. And then lastly, we're also obviously never going to leave out that punishment episode. We're going to have one this semester as well. David,
last one
ended
really bad for me.
But
you know what?
We have to keep that going.
It was one of my favorite episodes we ever did. Though.
Oh, that was so fun to produce.
It was a blast.
So that's kind of our format for the season. And then, like I said, the overall episode format will remain the same. We'll talk about things we've been up to or whatever. Then we'll go into news, we'll go into singles, music videos, albums, song recommendations, that sort of thing. If anybody has any recommendations of anything that they would love to see in our episodes or any different updates, anything like that, we would love to take that into consideration and potentially add it to our episodes. So if you guys think of any other type of things, let us know. We have a Facebook, Sunken Submarine. And then you also some of you people have our contact information. You guys can get
or if you
us.
think we're wrong about our opinions, let us know too, because that
totally.
could be something interesting to discuss.
Yeah,
And
people have told David he's wrong before.
Well, there's a few that that both of us have been wrong on for sure.
True, like Ariana Grande, or however you pronounce her name.
That's exactly what I said. I was definitely wrong there.
So, anyways,
Ariana Grande.
That's kind of what's going on. And then this episode, we're going to talk, since we had a month break, we want to kind of give you guys a little update on what we've been doing musically. And then from there, we'll go into big news. R. Kelly is currently under attack for a documentary that was released, the Golden Globes, and then we'll go into singles. Then we'll go into music videos. We'll go into album releases.
This was a good week, too.
There was a lot.
I know we say that a lot, but over break, there was a couple weeks that were dead.
Oh, yeah.
And now everyone is coming back now that it's
Although you didn't listen to much music over break, I feel.
Not as much.
And I was listening to a ton, so we'll get into that in a bit. Anyways, that's kind of what's in line for this episode. Enjoy.
So, over break, Sammy and I have both done some music-related things. I just wanted to run through the fact that I am in the process of making a song. I actually finished the song, and Sammy is currently helping me record and edit the music video.
He's waiting on me by this point.
Yeah.
Because he's done.
I'm done. My hands are clean, washed off with this project, and that should be out within a month. You think you can get it done in a month?
Yeah, I'd say probably within the next 2 weeks.
All right. So look forward to that. I'm not going to give any more information about what that is yet.
No song, no.
I'm not going to give the song. You know what? I'll say it's an Eric Church song.
Okay.
I'll give that much information. It's a cover of an Eric Church song, and it's one of my favorites. And this might.
You did a good job with it.
And this may be a clue as to what it is, but I just went to the record store recently, and I'm gonna give a rundown of a few things.
You totally just gave it away.
I totally did. But I mean, how do you not? It's what it is. And I know you went to the record store too, so we're both gonna give a rundown of a few things that we got. First one I got is Yes. Do you know the band Yes?
Yes.
I got this really cool 4-part album that's like got this beautiful album work. It's all like psychedelic stuff. It's like their best ofs. They're such a good band. If you don't know Yes and you like classic rock, listen to them. I got a George Jones album because it relates to maybe something that Sammy and I are working on. Old country artist. Led Zeppelin. I didn't realize that the Stairway to Heaven album does not have a title, and it doesn't have, like, if you look at the album, it literally never had a title.
But don't they call it Led Zeppelin? They call it like a self-entitled album.
No, it just doesn't have a name. Some people call it 4, I think. They call it the number of the album that it is that they've released, but it technically has no name.
Really?
And I never knew that.
That's fascinating.
And then 2 new. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but I was looking at it and I had no idea what it was because it didn't have a name. I had to look at the.
You don't know what the way
physical,
the cover looks?
I didn't recognize that cover for that album.
That cover is so like with the guy with the light standing at the bottom of the stairs, right?
No.
No?
No. It has nothing that would indicate that it has a stairway.
Maybe that's inside the album.
It's possible. I looked through it and there was no stairway on that cover. I think that might have been something they released later.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
So, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to have it. Yeah, it's not that. It's that. That's the cover of it.
Yeah, so
and
it's the guy
I would
picking
never
up the...
recognize
See,
that.
this is what I thought was the guy with the lamp. I've seen that.
That's interesting. I mean, if I saw stairs, I'd be able to put it together, but there was no stairs.
If I saw the guy with the lamp, I would know that was the album.
And look
I
at that
didn't
cover.
know
Would you ever
this
think that was
it.
Stairway to Heaven
No
by
way.
Led Zeppelin? Yeah, they call it 4.
4, yeah.
Because it has no name.
They don't have a name. That is crazy. I never knew that. See, and I just expected this dude to be on the album.
I think he actually might be on the back.
Then I wouldn't have been able to tell.
But there's no
was.
stairs though.
Yeah. He's on some rocks. He had to walk up those rocks to get there.
And it's got those symbols too, but yeah. And then the last 2 was California by Blink-182, and it's deluxe. It's like red. It looks really cool, the actual vinyl. And then,
when you sent me that picture of the vinyl, I did not know, because obviously I have the black one.
You're the one that made me need to buy it because you used to listen to it
all the time.
And I was like, I need to listen to this on vinyl because it just sounded so good.
And I had a black album. So when you sent me yours, I was like, are you sure that's the album? And then you took a picture with the album next to it. And I went, no way. Like, I thought that was really cool, the whole red part of the album. So.
And then the last one was the Star is Born soundtrack, which comes with like 10 pictures from the movie, I guess. It's kind of a separate photo shoot that they must have done with those characters in character. But apparently they have that in the CD album art as well.
Yep, because I got the CD earlier on. Basically right after we went and saw the movie, I got the CD because I enjoyed it so much.
So yeah, that's what I got from the store. And it was I don't know, I love the record store. It was like a bunch of dudes just jamming. Like they literally left us in this store by themselves, went to a separate room and started jamming and playing in some sort of rock band. And then one guy came over and he's like, just stop us from playing if you want to buy anything. And then he walked back and started playing.
Was this down in Cincinnati?
Yeah, it was a place in Milford. It was called Earworm Records.
Ugh, that sounds disgusting.
I liked it.
Oh, I'm glad you had fun. I went to the record store as well. I got Simulation Theory by Muse.
What a great album.
I've gotten like all the Muse albums now, and I just love Muse on vinyl.
You got more than just Drones and Simulation Theory?
I have their first album, the one with Madness, things like that. Or that's their second studio album. So, yeah. And then I got Because the Internet and Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino. Obviously, I had to. Eventually, I wanted to get Because the Internet for the script that came with it. I really wanted to read the script, and then I only read half of it anyways. So, and then Awaken My Love came with like some weird VR set that I have barely even touched.
What do you mean a VR set? What does that mean?
It came with like a virtual reality set.
Like a CD or what?
No,
what do you mean
like
a set? Like something you put on your head?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
How do you watch it? Is it with? You have to put your
it's
phone
like with
in
a
it?
phone, I think.
Okay. So it's like Google Cardboard, basically.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's a cheap VR thing. That's basically what it is.
Do they give you a video to watch with it?
Like I said, I haven't even touched the VR set. I haven't touched it. I read part of the script, and then I listened to both vinyls. That's basically what happened. And I personally felt like Because the Internet was the better vinyl. And maybe it's because there's some nostalgia there, but it just sounded more crisp to me. The last album I got on vinyl was Anthem of the Peaceful Army by Greta Van Fleet. I love this album. I also got it on CD.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. I love this album.
I don't know if people know this. If you buy vinyl, you can get digital copies of it for free, from online.
I think you can with CDs as well.
Can you?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I know you can with vinyl. We know that.
Right. I don't buy CDs.
Every one of them come with.
I don't see the point of buying CDs anymore.
Yeah. I like them.
And now you have Spotify Premium, right?
Yep.
So you don't care either.
That's what was going. That was my next thing that I've been doing with music is Spotify Premium. I mean, I finally got Spotify Premium. Before I was listening to the ads and I was just listening to music on shuffle, unless it was from a computer.
I feel like I could repeat all of the ads that they still have today just because I've used your Spotify account on that computer so many times.
Oh, yeah. And
So I am so thankful that you did this as well.
I love it. I love the fact that I finally did this. Took a long time, but I was like, I finally felt like, especially with this podcast and things that I've been doing, I felt like it was actually reasonable to get it. Before, I always felt like it wasn't a big deal for me to listen to music for free with some ads. It was like, whatever. But now, I need it. And then the last thing that I did was over break, I went to a concert. I went to Galantis. And
Oh, the ones that did Emoji?
yes. And this concert was pretty hype. I went with this a good buddy of mine. His name's Alex, and basically I think he's seen them before. But when we went, I found out halfway through the night that they're technically not even classified as like an electronic dance music group.
What, are they pop or what are they?
Their classified genre on like Spotify or something is rock. That's their genre.
You say genre. You say it like you put like a person's name in, like John. You say genre.
At least I can pronounce every other name correctly.
Genre.
Ariana Grande.
Genre.
At least I can pronounce names correctly.
But that's really interesting. I have no idea why they're rock. Because it sounds like either
it sounds like EDM.
It sounds more EDM than even pop does.
Yeah, it sounds like EDM. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that everything they play. They play instruments. They're not just sitting there hitting a board.
How many of them are there?
2. Both Swedish guys.
Do they have
Maybe?
a drum set,
Don't
or is
fact check me on
it
that.
just like?
So their setup is sick. They have, obviously, it's like a light show. The lights are beaming everywhere, obviously. But they're surrounded by drums on stage. Surrounded. And they just bang on the drums. And, like, some of the drums are electronic, so, like, when they hit them, it makes, like, a snare, like a clap or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they build the beat with the drums, and then they're both going at it, and it just sounds crazy. And the lights go to them hitting the drums.
That's awesome.
So it's not like the lights are set to just go wherever. I mean, some of them are, obviously.
Right.
But a lot of the lights, like the strobe lights, were just set to them hitting the drums. And then they're behind them, they just have, I think it's 6. There's 5 basses that they just bang on with like huge things, and they just bang on these basses in the back. It's
what do you mean
cool.
by bass? Like bass drums?
Like a bass,
Yeah.
like the one your pedal is with your foot.
Yeah.
And they bang on it with their hands or with these like massive things. It was pretty cool. And then the venue that they were in was the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, and normally Galantis really doesn't leave Vegas unless they go to Miami. Those are like the 2 places that they perform. So this is like a treat to see that they were going to be in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And the Aragon Theater is huge. This place is massive. And it was sold out. I mean, you could barely move in that place. And I've been to the Aragon before, and it's so big that they actually have, and it was cool because for Galantis, they have 3 sets of lights. So like closer to the stage, halfway, and then all the way back. And the lights are shooting. And it was pretty cool. I enjoyed the concert for sure.
Before you left, you said you thought they might be like mute math, you thought? Isn't that what you said?
Did I?
You said you thought it might be like that might be like lights everywhere, kind of like that. Oh,
yeah.
Do you think that was an accurate statement, or do you disagree with that now? I don't know if you said it on here, but you said it to me at one point.
Maybe I said it to you. I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but the lighting, yeah, I could see that. And I also thought like Mute Math really focused on the drummer. Their drummer, his name's DK. He was their focus.
Oh, that's
yeah. Actually, that's your initials.
That's me. Yeah.
But that's also the drummer's name of Mute Math is DK. So, anyways, I felt like they focused on that, and that obviously was very resemblant in Galantis. But it was a whole different dynamic on stage with Mute Math than it was with Galantis. With Galantis, they're like, "Put your hands up in the air, Chicago!" And you're like, "Let's go!" It's pretty crazy. So I don't know. It was, I wouldn't say Mute Math. Probably like if Avicii was still alive,
it'd be more like Avicii.
Be a lot like that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time. All right, and now for this week's news. R. Kelly is currently under some fire. I mean, reasonably so.
Yeah.
But he's under some fire. I guess there was this documentary that came out, right? And this documentary basically released everything that he's been doing that has been shoved under the rug for the past however many years.
Yeah, it was called Escape. It was on Dateline, and it was called Escaping R. Kelly, which is like already starting there. It's like, whoa, that's like escaping like prison, or I don't know. It's already like a big deal at that point. It just makes it sound like he's. I mean, I don't know. It makes him sound like what he is, I guess. Assuming the allegations are true.
Yeah, so these allegations are basically that he was holding girls and basically like slaves and like prostitutes, and these girls were young. I mean, these girls were easily under 18. Some of them were 15. And
16 was 16. The most recent one. So,
like, a lot of these girls are coming out saying that he was doing this and that it's an issue. Obviously, so here's where I'm confused. This is where I'm a little lost. This came out, like, 5-6 years ago. This came out when we first started here, I felt. And it was, like, talked about for a day and then shoved under the rug and never talked about again. So I'm surprised that it's like all it needed was a Dateline headline for it to become an issue. Like, this has always been an issue, and people knew this.
I mean, maybe part of it is it just takes a little bit of time to make these documentaries, because like I don't know what it is, but maybe they came up with the idea and it just took time to find the people and to record it all. But, like, they announced that they were going to release this, and R. Kelly said, you can't do that. That's, defamation of my identity or character. Yeah. And he said, I'm going to sue you if you put it out. And they still put it out, and he hasn't sued them. But
no, because now he's under heat.
Now he's under a lot of heat. And like you said, though, when it happened the first time, people were like, he's famous, we like R. Kelly. They kind of ignored it. And Lady Gaga was one of the people who at the time was like, people make mistakes. We all need redemption.
Just let him be him.
He'll be fine. And now,
she was the first person to remove music with him.
Yeah.
So she went on to Spotify. She went on to all streaming services and just removed the song with R. Kelly. It was on an album, and she removed it.
It was called "Do What You Want." That was the song that she released. That's crazy. And then Avicii also came out. Like, they asked him about this, and Avicii said I'm sorry, Skrillex. How can I confuse Skrillex and Avicii?
Way two different people. And
Avicii's not alive.
Yeah,
we were just talking about him. We were just talking about him as why a little bit earlier. Skrillex came out and said, how can you take away the music that he's done collabs with from artists such as Jay-Z or other artists? Because they have collabs, and he's saying if one person does some bad thing, should you let that action hurt the other artists who did the collabs with them? Because it's not those artists' fault.
It's funny he said that, but it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking that earlier on when we added this to the list here of what to talk about. I thought, like, he's done so much music with other artists. I mean, a good example is Cruel Summer, Good Music, Cruel Summer. It's a Kanye West album, but R. Kelly is kind of the headline on each song. And you really can't just take that album off. That album is one of the best albums I think Kanye has ever produced. And so it really affects other artists.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess with Lady Gaga's issue or position, I understand it because that song never really made that much money. Her profit is from the stuff she has done alone and with Tony Bennett, not from the song with R. Kelly. So she doesn't care if she has to get rid of this song. And it will also show that she is supporting these women that are currently coming out saying that he was, a child molester.
Yeah, as a PR move where people were getting on her, because people were mad about what she said a couple years back about it, like forgiving him, it kind of gets those people off her back. Easy. So as a PR move, it's what she needed to do, and it's not at a loss to her at all. But the question is, can you separate the music from the artist? And I don't really know the answer to that.
I don't know because I don't know if it was Spotify, but they came out saying that they weren't going to support artists that had stuff like this happen. So I don't know if you can or not. That's a really fine line.
And artists don't get dropped from labels even when these allegations stuff come out frequently. They don't drop them, and Sony dropped him. They dropped R. Kelly. That's rare.
I mean, it was smart for the label company for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is this is kind of my question is, I know it's too late to create a charge. Like, he can get sued. He can't go to jail. At least that's kind of my understanding of all this. I could be wrong. But when does it become a point where it's such an issue that I understand you really, this goes back into, stuff resurfacing, but there comes a point to where it's an issue, and it could be an issue later on, and they need to take it like that. So whether he's under surveillance or whatever, like under investigation, there needs to be something there to not let this happen again.
So that he doesn't abuse anybody ever again in any way.
Exactly.
Right.
So I don't know how this is all going to play out. I'm really interested in it. But like I said, from my understanding, nothing's really going to play out. But his music will take a beating. He won't. I mean, he'll lose a lot of money and a lot of listens.
I think them releasing a documentary like this, that's the purpose, is to protect the victims and to protect him from doing it again. Because now he knows he's in the spotlight for it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the best way to go about it. I don't know.
In other news, we have the Golden Globes. Basically, I'm stunned. I'm speechless. I'm at a loss for words when it comes to the Golden Globes because everybody in their right mind thought A Star Is Born was going to run away with the competition. Like, nobody was going to catch them. And that was not the case. They got snubbed hard, and I was about to say Queen. Bohemian Rhapsody won everything.
They won. What was it? Movie of the year?
They won everything.
Golden
now,
Globes
at the same time, don't get me wrong. It was decent enough to be up for awards. I just felt A Star Is Born was that much better. So, and there was the reason we're talking about the Golden Globes, I know it happened 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, but David and I saw both of these movies, so we thought we could, pitch in our idea. And I was so uncomfortable at one point. They have best picture, best director, things like that. And every time that A Star Is Born lost, they would show Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
I noticed that.
I was uncomfortable. I mean, it was under my skin uncomfortable.
And the thing is,
I don't get secondhand embarrassment ever. I'm pretty good about not getting that, and I was so upset. It was bad.
But they're like trained, but they would sit there and clap and smile, and I'd be like, "How can you smile?"
Oh, but there was times where you could tell that it was the fakest smile in the world. They were not happy by any means. So, anyways, I was just stunned by this. I don't know.
Well, Star Is Born won soundtrack. Is that right?
They only won.
Or was it just one song?
Best original
soundtrack
piece. Yeah, soundtrack. Oh, it wouldn't be soundtrack because that's every song. It was just best original piece, and it was Shallow.
Which deserves it.
Easily. That was one of the best songs this year.
Yeah. That's so crazy to me that Bohemian Rhapsody Bohemian Rhapsody won. Do you think they'll even be nominated for any of the other award shows? I mean,
that's
for
the
best
thing.
movie.
With Golden Globes, it's usually a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the Oscars. The Oscars, the nominations come out next Tuesday. So, I don't know.
That'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to make a prediction on that one because this one I didn't see coming.
No, neither did I. We'll probably make our predictions will probably be for the Grammys.
I can do that.
When we do that, and then that'll be our punishment.
One thing I want to point out is Greta Van Fleet made a statement because their album has been really successful lately, saying...
really successful?
Yeah. they came out saying, "Quit comparing us to Led Zeppelin."
Why?
The quote was, "Well, everyone already knows we sound like Led Zeppelin, so just get past it."
I mean, I get that, though, because, you don't want to sit there. You don't want every one of your fans to just keep comparing you to somebody else. You don't want to live in somebody else's shadow. You want to be your own.
But they're creating music that sounds exactly like Led Zeppelin.
I mean, I get that, but like I said, get past it.
And they even admit it.
But people keep telling them that.
Right.
They don't need to hear it more than once. They know.
They know.
They know.
And Greta Van Fleet was also, a short clip of it was in Aquaman. And that surprised me, so shout out to that.
Do you know what song it was?
I need to look at their last album to remember.
Okay.
Stupid internet. Well, my Spotify is not working, so let's talk about that. Spotify.
Wait, Spotify
has an opposing company, which is Apple Music.
Competition.
Guess that's what you would call an opposing company.
That's the word.
And Apple Music is going to be free for everyone who signs up for Verizon's Unlimited plan, which is a huge move for Apple Music because right now it's kind of a battle between Spotify and Apple Music. And
yeah, for best streaming services for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know who is actually winning that fight, but
it must be Spotify if Apple Music is offering
for free.
So, yeah, it basically is like Apple Music for life if you have an unlimited plan with the Verizon. That is unbelievable. And then it's like a 6 months if you have it's like a 6 month try.
Oh yeah, you can get the lesser
the
lesser unlimited plan, which I don't know how you can have a lesser unlimited plan and a more unlimited plan because shouldn't unlimited mean unlimited? But maybe it's like calls or text. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's two different. I mean, like even for Sprint, there was two different ones because I'm with Sprint, and like there's two different unlimited plans.
Have you ever used Apple Music?
No.
So you're a Spotify guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I mean, like
I don't have a strong opinion on this.
I've never used Apple Music as a streaming service. I've used Apple Music to purchase music.
Oh, just iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Um.
But I don't know. It's interesting, and it'll be really interesting to see what Spotify does about it because I think majority of people like Spotify better if they have both.
Well, I was just about to say to you, do you think this is going to hurt Apple's business?
No.
Because here's my take on it, right? Yeah, you're giving them unlimited or you're giving them free Apple Music for life. You're not making a profit off of these people. Then you're not offering it to anybody that is joining Verizon for the future. It's just the people that currently have the unlimited plan. So it's not being offered, right? So if it was offered with Verizon for the future, people would start turning to Verizon, and then maybe they'd be taking a chunk out of Verizon, saying, hey, we get a specific amount of royalty for everybody that comes over because they want our free Apple Music, right? But that's not the case because they're not offering it an extension. They're just saying, hey, anybody that currently is unlimited with Verizon is getting this. So it's not benefiting them in my eyes. It's just not.
They must be getting some sort of cut from those people's plans. That's all I can think, is they're getting some sort of cut from the plan from Verizon. Verizon's paying Apple for their customers to get Apple Music so that a Verizon customer may say, I don't know.
That cut has to be hefty. It has to be.
It's got to be. I agree. Unless
unless
it's equal to the amount that it costs Apple for those customers to use it. So in that way, there's no gain or loss of money for them. They keep the same amount of money, but that way it's a big advertisement for them because now a lot more people can share that they're using Apple Music. It's crazy. Whatever it is.
Nothing is free.
Whatever it is, it's an insane idea, and I think it's actually going to make a pretty big wave as far as streaming services go.
We'll see. I'm not sure, but nothing is free. I'm very curious to see.
We had a few albums come out this week. We're going to talk about, I think, 6 of them. The category is starting with alternative. We're going to go through a few different ones here, different categories. Genres, I mean. And the first one we're going to start with is A Real Good Kid by Mike Posner, the first album. And this is a very interesting album. And the reason why, to me, is because of how he starts it. He has an explanation in his introduction song that says, if you are not able to listen to this for 40 minutes straight without texting, without stopping it, without, full attention,
then turn it off.
I politely ask you to wait until a time where you can. And then it says, so I'm going to tell you what happened. And then he said, a lot of people have been asking me what happens. And my answer is, and then it just jumps into the album. It's really interesting.
I liked that start. I did, because it put me in a mind where I was like, okay, I have to be in a meditative mindset to listen to this.
Yeah. I was like, dang it. Guess I know what I'm doing for the next 40 minutes now.
That's true, too. But
until I listened to it, and then I was like, oh, yeah, that was worth it. Yeah, I was glad I did that,
Yeah, I agree. So basically, he takes you on the journey of what he has experienced in his life over the past year, basically. And year and a half. And it's about his father's passing, his girlfriend breaking up with him, and Avicii passing away. And all this is because he's good friends with Avicii. He loves his dad. And he is pretty open about it in this album.
That's an understatement.
And there were some explicit songs, and it's just because It's trying to capture that emotion. And I personally loved the album because of the amount of emotion behind each song. He put his heart into each song. And like, I know everybody does that, but this was like a meaningful, from the bottom of his heart. What
Right.
he felt is what he wrote in his song.
You gonna put headphones on?
Oops.
Not that you need to. It's just you can hear my sweet, beautiful voice better, like I can hear yours.
All right.
But I
they're on
completely
now.
agree. And there's a few parts in here, especially the second song on the album, which is directly about his dad, and it just has the date of his death, I assume, which it's January 11th, 2017, and he's got a clip of his dad in there, talking to him about just life or something like that, and then at the end he goes, "Are you gonna put this in a song?" And then it cuts off. He doesn't answer the question because obviously he did. But there's little insights into what his dad was like throughout this album that I think are pretty neat, and he has those go throughout. It's kind of a theme.
Yeah, I agree. And I like how the album ends. When the album ends, it ends with his father talking. And I won't spoil it. You definitely should listen to this album. But it kind of comes full circle. And I liked that.
So one thing I was saying is how at first I thought, this is a little bit risky to make an album where you say listen to it for 40 minutes because then people might not be as inclined to go back and listen to singles. And then Sammy came back and brought up the point that that's how Mike Posner's kind of always done things, is his albums are not normally what blow up. It's actually his remixes.
Yeah. So his albums in the past years have kind of been where he makes an album and it's more of an acoustic version of whatever we know of, such as I Took a Pill in Ibiza. That started out as an acoustic version. And then it was remixed into what everyone knows that song to be. So he is very creative, even with a guitar. Were you there when we saw him live?
Yeah.
So we saw him. He did this thing. It was called the Ghost Concert, right? I think that's what they call it. Ninja Concert. And basically, he just showed up at the University of Dayton and was just playing the guitar out on the
unannounced. Street. He just found a little amphitheater and started rocking out. Not rocking out. He had an acoustic guitar and was just singing from the heart. And it actually, he was singing from his previous album that I Took a Pill in Ibiza was from, and it was way before the remix of that came out.
Oh yeah, that song, the song, the remix version was not even that wasn't even a glimmer right then.
That was such a magical moment. That was so cool.
Amazing.
Because he realized that people didn't care about him, that his life was over, that drugs were ruining everything for him, and he thought, let me restart and just kind of pop up in different spots in America and try to gain a fan base where I directly meet with people as opposed to this, commercial thing where people don't really have that connection with him.
Yeah. That was awesome. So what is your favorite song on the album?
I really liked the last one, How It's Supposed to Be. I liked how it ended. I liked the sound of it with the acoustic guitar in it. I thought it was beautiful. And I don't know.
Longer song, though, for sure. 5.5 minutes. But it's worth it.
To me, longer songs generally have more space for a little bit more creative freedom in music and solos and build up and release and all that. So for me, I liked it.
I agree with that.
What about you?
I think my favorite song was Move On. I don't know. That song puts me in like that mindset. I totally get that song. The lyrics, everything about that song is relatable. Like, I haven't lost my father. I haven't lost my friends. I can't relate there, but
Right.
I get the whole idea of move on and just, life goes on, right?
It's so catchy
So-
too. It's a very catchy
It is.
tune.
It's got a catchy beat, and I think the guitar is nice. I just like, and then I saw, when I first saw this, before I heard the album, he released the music video, and this was, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, and I saw that, and I went, wow, like, I didn't know all that happened to him.
I didn't either.
And I got like I got the goosebumps during the song because I was like during the music video when I first saw it, because I saw the music video before the album and I was like, holy cow, that's crazy. So
I like the music video. He points out all the things that happens, and he's like, I'm gonna shave my beard just because I want to, and grow it out because I want to, whatever. But then he explains at the end that he's gonna be walking across America, and it's gonna take. How long did he say it was gonna take?
I don't think he gave a time of how long it would take. I think he just he was just telling everybody that he's walking across America starting in May.
Yeah, and
So-
like, I think it's so typical of him actually because
Oh yeah,
because
I mean,
he
it
did
fits him
those
perfectly.
he did those ninja concerts. It's kind of a similar thing. I think he's just gonna show up, walk, and probably perform places in the meantime.
I totally agree. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. So that is A Real Good Kid. Now we are going to move on to Remind Me of Tomorrow by Sharon Van Etten. David, what did you think? You only listened to, I'd say, a little over half the album.
I would have listened to a little bit more if I was super into it.
This is not your style.
It's
for
not my
sure.
style. It's a little slow. I guess slow is a bad. Boring is a more accurate word for my opinion of it.
It really reminds me of, oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name? Lana Del Rey.
Oh,
That is
Yeah.
the exact type of music this is. It's alternative for sure, but it's kind of got that monotone, here's what it is. I thought the words were very, very meaningful. And I personally felt that your favorite song on the album, you said was the single.
yeah.
Comeback Kid.
Comeback Kid. I thought was one of the more interesting sounding beats and sound. Yeah, I like that one the
And
best.
we listened to 6 out of the 10 songs. I personally felt like Malibu was another really good song. I liked that song. You didn't get to listen to it.
I didn't even hear it.
It was nice. I don't know. I liked it just because it just reminded me of like a song Lana Del Rey would have released.
I said I think she kind of looks like Michael Jackson, but
A more attractive Michael Jackson.
all right. Our next one that we're gonna go through is on the harder rock type music. The first one being from Switchfoot, and the album is called Native Tongue.
All right. Did you listen to the album?
I didn't listen to it.
Neither did I.
And I like Switchfoot, so I will. But for the purposes of this podcast, we will not be reviewing this album.
In fact, I will tell you, I don't know if I have ever listened to them.
Really?
I've heard of them.
You'll
I
know a
them.
couple of their songs.
I know them. I've heard of them.
Dare
but,
you,
like,
you'll
I've
definitely
never-
hear Dare You to Move. So
Yeah.
they kind of dabble into Christian music a little bit. Like they'll be played on Christian radio sometimes, like Dare You to Move will. Or they had a song called Gone that's sometimes on Christian radio. But they also appeal to an audience that's not just Christian music as well. So they're somewhere in between.
I'll definitely check this most recent album out and their like popular songs. But yeah, like I said, I've heard of them, but I've never really actually listened to them.
It's
So-
very like make your life better type music.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The next album we have is by Papa Roach. It's called Who Do You Trust? David, you listened to 3 or 4 songs off of this one. And what'd you think of those 3 or 4 songs?
Again, if I don't listen to the full album, it probably means it's not my
Not
thing
your cup
fully.
of tea.
I know the name Papa Roach. Somehow I've never heard of his most popular song.
Which I was stunned by because you hang out with me and I listen to a lot of like 2000 stuff, and I just happen to, I listen to like The Rock 2 from 2000, and I was just surprised you haven't heard of it.
But my opinion on the ones that I actually did hear is I liked them better than the single that it was the most popular song that he had on here. What was that called? It was
The most popular song is
Last
Resort.
Last Resort.
Yeah.
I liked it better than that.
I don't know. I like their newer stuff, but I really like their old stuff. They were famous in the 2000s for the stuff they were doing, so obviously I like that.
You like
But
so just because they're famous means you like it more.
No.
I'm asking that to help clear up what you're saying.
It's a little nostalgic, that's all.
That's a good reason.
And I used to listen to harder rock. I haven't in a while, really, but I used to listen to like pretty hard stuff. And I don't know. I think maybe this new album may bring me back into that. I hope, because I love hard rock.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see. My favorite song on the album was Elevate, for sure. It was a single as well.
Oh, Elevate.
That's Levitate.
Ah. All right.
Almost had him.
Well, there's a Kendrick song with that name, right?
Levitate, levitate, levitate. No, that's Levitate 2.
Well, there's
and it's technically not even called Levitate. It's called Untitled 2 or whatever.
No, I think he has one called Elevate, doesn't he?
I don't think so, but okay.
Hold on. This is the thing now. I'm looking this up.
Look it up. I don't think he has one. He has the song called Levitate. Well, it's not even called that.
Oh, Elevate. Yeah. Oh, Drake has a song called Elevate. That's interesting. So does
Kendrick does not, though.
So does the Spider-Man soundtrack that just came out.
Kendrick isn't on that, though, is he?
No.
All right.
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
I thought so. You're thinking of the song I was just Levitate, levitate, levitate.
Yeah, levitate. Yeah. All right. Anyways, our next release is Future released an album called The Wizard.
Future Hendrix presents The Wizard.
What is the Hendrix part? Is that like a Jimi Hendrix
I
reference?
think that's his last name.
Is it really?
I think so. I'm not sure. Not 100% positive on that, but...
So this was probably the biggest album of this week, I would say. Not probably.
James Blake is pretty big.
If you look at what made the top 100 on Spotify, there's a lot more Future songs right now.
True.
So...
But the difference between the two is Future comes out with bangers. James Blake came out with kind of a more soft R&B style.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference, and it's just people listen to bangers more is what it comes down to.
So you like Future. What do you think of this album? Does this hold up to the Future?
I liked it. There was some songs that were just so obnoxious, though, that I was like, tempted to just press next, and I didn't because I felt like I should be hearing it out and see if there was a drop or anything. But there was just some where it was cringy, and I was thinking this is not that good.
So I'm gonna agree with you on that. That my biggest problem with this album is once the beat started, it never changed for any of the songs.
Yeah.
One or two songs it changed a little bit, but for the most part, the beat stayed consistent throughout the whole entire thing.
See, the beat isn't what bothers me as much. What bothers me is, for example, I'm just looking at the songs here. The song Crazy But True. He says crazy but true 50 times in the song. I swear. It's like crazy but true. Crazy but true. And I'm like, this is obnoxious. Like I could just, I could do this.
No, you couldn't.
I couldn't make the beat.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I could easily just repeat.
Do you think he's making the beat at these days?
I don't know. That's a good question.
So, do you have? First of all, for me, the first song, I kind of thought it sounded like it's called "Never Stop." I kind of thought it sounded like Lil Wayne almost, but yet, like the new Lil Wayne that just does auto tune, that just kind of. It's not mumble rap, but it's getting close. That's what it felt like to me.
He is shamed against mumble rap, not Future, Lil Wayne.
Yeah, I get that because he was the one that kind of blew up. I don't know. He didn't blow up his mumble rap ever. I'm sure he doesn't like it either. That was an opinion there. Then there's the song Jumpin' Jet. All I could think of the whole time is that the beat in the background sounds like a stinking Super Smash Brothers level. It goes like doo 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 doo. It's and I looked it up because I wanted to find it. If you're watching that, it's this level. Do you know that level?
Oh, the lava level. That's
Yeah.
all you had to say is that it's the lava level.
The lava level with like the monster. It's called what's it called? It's called like Brainstar Depths.
That's
yeah,
been
it's the Brainstar
That's been
series.
on every Super Mario Bros. Ever.
The beat in the background, it's like this song from that level with, drums added to it. That's what it sounds like to me.
I did not get that vibe at all.
But I liked it.
So
I
it
just
may
want to
just
say
be,
that.
it may just be you, but I'm not sure.
I'll show it to you. Do you want to listen to these?
Oh, let's play it out. Take your headphones off. A little bit.
Play the very beginning again. It's not that close. It's where my head was.
I hear it a little bit. I do. I hear it a little bit. It's missing some notes. Like that one's a lot more notes than this.
I agree, but it hits the same like
I kind of hear it.
the like more pronounced notes are in both. It just for whatever reason it made me want to do a rap over this for some reason. This Super Smash Brothers thing.
Well,
it's so irrelevant to the album review, but I couldn't stop hearing it.
That's all you could think about. Anyways, what's your favorite song from the album? My favorite song has to be Face Shot.
Face Shot?
I love that song. It bangs.
That was not my top. I thought it was fine.
That was my favorite.
What's your favorite part about that? Just how just all the part like what's your
I just like it because it like that is the future that I expect is like the future that gets you going and you're thinking let's go baby, that's kind of how I felt during that song. The other song that kind of made me feel that way was Call the Corner. Other than that,
yep, I was about to say the top two that got me feeling that sort of way, and I don't love Future's voice. But the two that had the best beats I thought were Call the Coroner and Servant Kill a Cam, because they have these dark, like, kind of twisted, evil sounding.
yeah,
And I love that sound.
I kind of like that too. I don't know, there was some of the beats I liked, but like you said, they were very repetitive.
Right.
But to me, I don't mind that as much. I don't know. Overall, it was okay. The album.
It was fine. It's Future.
The last album we have that was released is Assume Form by James Blake. David, you never got the opportunity to listen to this. I like it a lot. It's a different take for James Blake. It's kind of R&B style. There's a track with Travis Scott on it. And I personally, my favorite song on the album was with Andre 3000 called Where's the Catch? It was kind of the faster pace song on the album. I actually think it may be one of the most listened to songs, except for the one with Travis Scott on the album.
Mile High was the number one listened to.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fine as well. I did get to listen to that and the Andre one. And Andre 3000 is the reason that song is great.
Oh, he kills it. It was a slower album for sure, but I kind of liked that. And it put me in a good mindset. You know, I listened to it driving home from your place last night, and it was just like a great mindset and R&B style album. And the beats were crisp. Unlike Future's album, this album had some change of pace as well. You know, the beats changed every once in a while.
Is James Blake a rapper? Is that what he does primarily? What would you call him?
I don't really know what he falls under, like, music-wise.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand, because I know he's featured
Influenced
in King's
by
Dead.
D'Angelo and Stevie Wonder.
Huh. Because
He's from London, I know that.
The King's Dead song with Kendrick Lamar, that's probably my favorite song from that album, and
this says
he's in it.
He's R&B sampling strains of dubstep.
So is he more of a producer type?
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely more of a producer type, but he sings. He does sing.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
All right.
I think that sums up our albums of the week.
Are we done with Christmas albums?
Yeah, for right now.
Oh, thank God.
All right, so the next thing we're going to talk on the list is some singles of the week. And we are going to kick it off with country, actually. And we will end with kind of mainstream pop, because then it'll lead into our music videos perfectly. So, to start us off, we had the first single of the week was One Man Band by Old Dominion. David, what did you think of this song?
I'm a very big fan of this song.
Really?
I loved the guitar in it. I loved the sound of it. It's so relaxed. The way the electric guitar played, and I'm the type of guy I like to listen to the instruments sometimes more than the lyrics. It sounded like a steel guitar, but if you listen closely, it's not. And I love the way they made the electric sound like a steel. I thought it sounded really cool.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. So here's my story with this song. This is what I was about to tell you, and then I stopped because I was like, no, you know what? I'll just save it for the podcast. So I actually saw this song live. And
they performed it before they released it?
Yes.
When was this?
This is for the Kenny Chesney tour. So my theory is they were writing an album and producing it while they were on tour, and they weren't going to release anything until the tour stopped. The tour ended, and they started releasing singles. They released Make It Sweet back in 2018, and then they just released this one. So it was weird when I heard it. When I initially heard it, I went, wait, like, I've heard this before. And then
weird.
I realized
really
I saw
weird.
it live.
I can only think of one.
They said before they presented it, they said, hey, we haven't released this song yet. We're just going to play it for you guys. And they played the song.
That's cool, though.
So
I saw 21 Pilots at UC in 2014, and they had a different beat, but he rapped the same part as Heavy Dirty Soul at the beginning before the song was ever released. When was Blurry Face released? It was like 4 months before Blurry Face was released.
Yeah. I think it was 2014 as well.
In the summer, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had that happen.
That's so strange that they played the full song for you before it.
I've had that happen with Time Flies before. They've done that a lot, where they perform something that they've never released. That happens often.
I like that. That's good.
And they've done that a lot, and I like that a lot because I'm like, one of the first to hear it. This is cool, right? But they've done that a lot, and then with the Heavy Dirty Soul thing, because I just to comment on that. that was like a video.
That's
Like,
right. That's right.
He was like walking down the street. It was like poetry with Tyler Joseph.
But
and
he did it
just
slowly,
rehearsed it.
and he did the rap exactly the same. Because I found a video of it online, a really bad quality video, and he raps it the same way that he raps it in the recording.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's the only caveat there, but it doesn't have the rest of the song, but it was still kind of cool.
yeah.
So I get what you saw was apparently way
It was
more
like
of the
full
song.
song. Yeah.
That's really neat.
So, anyways, yeah, that was my little story with that song. The next single we had was that was another country song, was "Girl" by Maren Morris. What'd you think of this song?
I liked it, but it wasn't as good as One Man Band. I think One Man Band stood out more to me.
Yeah, I think it stood out more to me too. I felt like the song should have been called "Halo," and she just didn't want to live under, Beyonce's footsteps or shadow.
Well, and Broken Halo was released not that long ago too.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So that's in the country world even.
So, but yeah, it was a good song. It was all right.
What an uncreative name for a song.
Girl. Well,
You know, if you say gooey and hold your hand up like this, or no, if you say girl through your hand like this, girl, it sounds like you're saying gooey.
that did not sound like that.
It does to me. Do it for yourself.
Girl.
You don't hear the thing at the end?
I hear girl. I don't hear gooey. Anyways, the other I wanted to say, because you said what an unoriginal name for a song, I was going to ask you, have you seen Bird Box?
The Bird Box. Oh, the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
No.
Oh, she names her kids boy and girl.
Wow.
That's their names. Very original.
Is the boy a boy and the girl's a girl?
Yeah, well, it's 2016, dude.
That's true. You can't say stuff in 2016. I can't wait till we get to 2019 when you can say stuff again.
All right, the next single we had was, we're going to go into the alternative area, and the next single we had was Almost by Hozier.
It rocks.
Yeah, I liked it. It was, I wish he would just pronounce a little more, because I can't understand half the words he says half the time, but I did like this song. In fact, it was my favorite single in the alternative realm out of the three we have here.
Okay. I don't agree with that, but okay.
So out of the next three, I think this one was my favorite. So the next one, now that I'm just gonna list the three alternatives and we can talk about them all. The next one was All Over Now by Cranberries, and then the last one was Land of the Free by the Killers.
Mine, as a song specifically, is probably Land of the Free by the Killers. I think it's a pretty darn well-written song.
Is it because there was a choir kind of singing in the background?
Yeah, that just shows you how good the production quality is, but it's a well-written, lyrically thought-out song with a specific message, very political, and it's more political than I like songs to be, but I just think the song was written more creatively and produced better than Almost by Hozier. That's all.
Oh.
And it's catchy.
What about All Over Now? That was not my cup of tea at all.
Not me either. The Cranberries are sort of a boring band to me. They're a little bit too mellow. They're not my favorite.
Yeah, not the biggest fan of that song, but I did like the other two songs. I did like the Killer song, and I did like Hozier's song. So the next one, now we're just going to do a complete 180, and we're just going to go into rap, and we're going to talk about Mixed Personalities by YNW Melly, or just Melly, and it's featuring Kanye West. I did not really like the song that much. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was Kanye West. It was weaker for Kanye West. And I thought because Melly released an album, but this was like a single from the album.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just felt like the album itself was weaker too. I wasn't even that big of a fan of the album either. I think just having Kanye West on the track makes it bigger, obviously, but I don't know. What do you think?
We're going to review the video in a minute, and it was one of those things where the video stood out to me more than the song, and that's...
I totally agree with that.
And I didn't even... Well, I'll get into my opinion of the video, but yeah, fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad by any means, actually. This guy, YNW Melly, I actually think he's going to have a good future now that he got in the spotlight somewhat. I think he's going to be able to build off of that.
We will see. You want to give us the next one? I've been doing them all.
Sure, because this is probably the best one of the week, or up there, close to it, which is Keanu Reeves by Logic. And I don't know. So this song was apparently supposed to be, I don't know if this is verified, but a friend told me this is supposed to be, shout out John Algier, is supposed to be on Bobby Tarantino 2. It was, and for some reason it wasn't on there. And that was apparently one of my most listened to albums of Spotify's 2018 thing. So I love the album, and this just would have fit on it perfectly. It's a great, fantastic beat. What did you think of this one?
Easily the song of the week in my mind. I am not normally a big fan of Logic. Well, at least his older stuff. I love his newer stuff. I never was a fan of his older stuff. And his buddy John is like, he lives and dies by Logic. And I'm just like, nah. I never, the issue was John liked Logic back, before he got his hits and stuff like that. And it never caught on with me. He was copying a lot, things like that. I didn't like his older stuff at all. And all of his newer stuff, even, regardless the Suicide Hotline, song, all of his newer stuff I like it a lot more than his older stuff.
I think it fits his personality a little better.
Easily. And I think that's why it's better.
Because it used to be kind of more hard rap. That's really hard to say, they're tough to say that it was hard rap, but it was harder, and that's just not the type of personality he has.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I don't know. I was never really a fan of his old stuff, but the new stuff I love.
The worst part about this song is he goes, "I won't play anything unless I'm playing Fortnite."
Yeah, I know. What was that all about?
And if it was supposed to be on Bobby Tarantino 2, then in his defense, that's like a year old. But
it's
that's
still
a cringe at
why
this
would
point.
you say that? I also thought, but this beat was sick. This beat would have cured anything that he said.
And he rapped really well over it.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Great flow. I love the song. And I the first thing I did when I heard the song was I texted John. I texted our buddy John, and I was like, yo, have you heard this song? I love it. And didn't even reply.
He was mad, too, because it's like trap, and he's like, it's not the old Logic. You can't do that.
I loved it. So the next single on the list, now we're going to go into kind of pop. That was kind of like our leeway into pop, a little bit of rap, a little bit of pop. And now we're going into Genius by LSD. So this song was previously already released, but they put Lil Wayne on it, and it was like a remix. And I thought Lil Wayne killed it. I mean, he was rapping like a maniac, and I loved it. He was just going so fast. I
totally agree, and I don't know why, but Lil Wayne seems to always perform better
when it's not his
it's not his track.
Yeah.
Like Believer that just came out. I know people ripped on him for that performance that he had with Imagine Dragons.
I mean,
and
he was
all
dressed
that.
like a grandma.
He came out. I'm a grandma. He sounds like one too. And he just does great on these. I don't have any idea why. Maybe it's because he doesn't have to be creative. He can just say things that they say in the song, but faster and in his voice.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked his part. The song itself, like when it was initially released, I was like, nah. But I liked his part in this song. So
The next one we have on here is Breathe by the Backstreet Boys.
this song I thought was the most unique this week.
Why is that?
The Backstreet Boys did a cappella.
I think it sounds so good.
I was stunned, and I thought it sounded amazing.
It's I'm a firm believer that harmonies in music between musicians is just one of the most impressive and most beautiful thing you can have in a song. Like any genre of music, it's gonna sound good to do that. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's just the best form of music creation, I think.
Yeah.
And they nail it here.
Oh, they nail it. And I like their harmony outside of this song has always been kind of on key. They always favor each other, you know, they always help each other out. And I think that's kind of their own unique trait, and that's what makes them so good. But I loved it.
So do you have any idea if they're set to release an album soon?
Well, this is their third single.
This is the third one? Okay.
So if they are, then I mean, like they already have 3 songs out, so they're clearly making music, but they have not I don't know if they've announced an album. So that being said, they have
Are they touring?
They have the song Breathe, they have the song Chances,
Right.
and they have the song Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Was that a cover? Did we
All
listen
recent.
to that?
No.
Okay.
It goes, baby, don't go breaking my heart, breaking my heart.
Oh yeah, we did listen to that. That's right.
I'm sure I've played it for you.
No, I think we might have even talked about it on here.
No, because it came out over the summer.
We didn't talk about it on here.
We did talk about Chances, though. I'm trying to figure out. They had both of those were in 2018, and then they had 2019. They had Chances remixes released, so probably this week or last week, and then they had Breathe. So there's a high probability. I don't know. We'll see.
So the last one of the singles is probably the most relevant one, and it's 7 Rings by Ariana Grande. And since she is probably one of the most relevant artists right now, this song is blown up, of course. The song itself, what do you think?
I liked it. I thought it was different for Ariana.
I think it's quite a bit different.
I thought it was like kind of a little more rap-esque, but I liked it.
I like how it starts off a little childish almost. It's playing Favorite Things from, what's that movie called? The Sound of Music. I mean, she changes the words up, but it's the melody of it. It's obviously stolen from it.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like harder trap rap.
Yeah, and I kind of dig that.
And
then like I don't know, I just think her style is. I'm very excited for her next album because I think it's going to be different from anything that she's already done.
The funniest thing to me is I just saw on Twitter not too long ago, apparently Soulja Boy is all up in arms because this song sounds like Pretty Boy Swag.
Hey!
Because
it's got the same.
It's got a little bit of a similar like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, and she's whispering it. She's not screaming it or singing it. She's just kind of whispering / whatever she considers rap.
I think that is absolutely ridiculous, though, and if you disagree with me, you should go buy his game systems, and hopefully they die on you.
They're already out of. They're not being sold anymore.
They are. He just released a new one that's exactly like the PSP 2 days ago.
I thought they were completely discharged.
They were. It was one that looked exactly like a Nintendo system, and now this one looks exactly like the PSP, and it's even worse.
Interesting. Well, I guess I got to go out and buy one then. And just for the record, before we go off here, Backstreet Boys are releasing an album next week, January 25th, and the album is called DNA. Very excited.
So this week we had some hot new music videos come out. And we are going to start with pop music, and we're going to leave off where we just left off. Start off where we left off the last segment. We ended with 7 Rings by
Ariana Grande, because you can't pronounce it.
Thank you. And what did you think of this video? The video itself.
Yeah, so I liked it. I loved the pink filter on it. That was sweet because normally videos don't have pink filters on them. So I kind of liked it. What did you think?
The thing that I liked about it, and this is, it's not, I don't know. This was something that clearly they put a ton of time into, is that no matter where you look on the screen for any given shot, there was something there to look at that was interesting. You couldn't find one spot that didn't have either some sort of neon colored light in the background or a person or artwork of some kind.
Even her shoes. At one point, I found myself looking at Ariana Grande's shoes, and like she was supposed to be the object of like attention, and I was looking at her shoes.
But that's the weird thing is somehow even with all that stuff, they didn't make it cluttered. It didn't feel like everything was insane. It was. So you could still focus on things.
No, I agree.
I don't know. I just thought they clearly tried to do that because no matter what shot it was of different things, the house, the party, the little dollhouse, all of it had some spot where you could look at. Just thought that was interesting.
Yep. I totally agree, and I thought it was an artsy fartsy kind of music video. That's kind of why I liked it. So the next music video we're going to talk about is Satisfaction by Zayn. David, what did you think of the music video?
I still don't exactly understand what they were trying to do here. I don't know what the plot was, but I think maybe someone died in a fire of a village or something like that. I'm not sure. But what I liked about it is that there was a lot of specific individual face shots of people that like they'd zoom in on their face and there was something like really unique about their reaction or look on their face or just interesting faces.
It felt like it was capturing their emotion better.
Yeah.
And the whole objective of that music video was to represent rebirth. That's what it was. So when the girl passes on, she passes on to a guy. When the guy passes on in the end, he turns into a flower. The flower then turns into a bird. It was all about rebirth. You know, you live several lives. You keep living on.
That makes sense.
That's what the goal of the music video. At least that's what I got out of it. I could be completely wrong, but that's just kind of my perspective of the video.
Right. And I think they tried to tell that story through people's facial expressions, which is a very cool way to do it, but it also makes it a little bit unclear what the message might be.
It's very difficult to do that.
Right.
So, it was different. That's all.
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
The next one on our list is Secreto. I don't want to say it wrong, but I think that's what it is, and it's by Annual AA, and it's featuring Karol G. Based on this video, I do not know if they are dating, but if they are not, they are very good actors.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Have to be.
They gotta be dating. I mean, they were all over each other.
And I just felt like they were, I don't know. There was no acting there. There was no acting. That was as if they were filming themselves on their dates and travels. I don't know. It was too real. And then they had the tattoos in the end, and that was another thing I recognized that I don't think.
Oh, tattoos of each other. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I thought that sealed the deal. I was like, yeah, it's not fake. But this is like top 2 trending on YouTube, this video. I have no idea why. I'm sure it's just because it's an international song.
International, and it's a music video.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Whatever it was kind of different, the difference in shots. Like, when it was a shot of, like, the city, I have no idea what city that was. But it was, like, beautiful professional shots. But some of the ones in the relationship when they were just, like, in the snow, could have been just like someone on their
Could have been
cell
somebody on
phone.
their cell phone. Yeah, I thought the same thing actually. I was like, some of these are really high quality shots, and then the others are just, like that fireworks shot in the end. I was like, really?
It was also a really lame
Was
firework.
that even necessary to put in there?
It wasn't even a big yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm getting mad about my personal firework preferences, but
I don't know.
one other thing that I thought was funny in the video that was very, very minimal, but it made me happy is the girl shooting silly string at the guy, and the guy goes to shoot silly string, and it's like just shooting out air, and he gets really mad about it. Because I know that feeling. I've been in a silly string fight when I was a kid, and air came out, and I was like, no. But I don't know.
I get that.
Just kind of hit me. I've been in that painful spot before.
All right, the next one is mixed personalities. This music video stood out to me as well. I know David mentioned it stood out to him earlier. It was so, like, it was weird. It had, like, a 70s style to it.
Did it stand out to you in a good way?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Well, I thought when
the
it ended, you
graphics-
looked at me and said, well, that sucked.
Well, the graphics weren't that great. I was talking about the song. I wasn't a fan of the song.
Gotcha.
But the graphics weren't that great, but I just loved like that point where it looks like something provocative, and a girl, or the robot girl, is eating spaghetti. It was just hilarious. I was like, that's perfect.
It was really funny.
So some of the stuff was good in this music video. I really just, it was just, I felt the 70s style, like the whole purple and green, like lime green and purple. That's such a 70s color combination. I don't know. And then the whole, the Kanye standing on glass while it's filming above, that's like a 90s thing. So I just felt like it was going through all the ages there. That's such a 90s thing, looking down at a camera. But I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, there was a couple things that I really liked. All the fake computer generated grass, like just literally grass, not weed. But it was very, very clear by watching this video that Kanye just did some stuff in front of a green screen at a completely different place, and probably took him 15 minutes to film the whole thing. Meanwhile, the other guy spent all the time on it, which I totally get. It makes sense. Why would Kanye waste his time? But if you look at it, they're never at the same place at the same time.
No.
And all of the shots that he were in were completely different than the other guys.
Yep. I saw that too.
Just an interesting thing to notice.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to, I guess we'll call it alternative. And ironically, it's moving on, because the song that we're going to talk about is called
Move On
by Mike Posner.
I like this music video just because it showed me the realization of what actually happened to him in his life over the course of the past year and a half.
Yeah, like when we talked about the album earlier, this like kind of explains, I mean, not kind of, it directly explains everything that he addresses in the album.
Yeah. So, I like the album, I like this music video. Obviously, this is my favorite song from the album too, so I'm sure that kind of plays a part in it. I think he's crazy for walking. At the end of the music video, he says, "So on May 1st, I'm just going to walk across the U.S." Like, I don't think that's going to be achievable without taking a van. But I think, I don't know. He's crazy. He's Forrest Gump. He's just psychotic. That's all.
Why do you think it was filmed vertically?
It was all from his phone.
You think it was previous videos that he had taken that he just compiled together?
Yes. And if you notice at the very end, it goes widescreen because it's a video of his father, and it's like a homemade video.
That makes sense.
So at the very end, it does go widescreen, but everything else is small. So
as we move forward in technology, our videos get worse.
From a phone,
The
qualities get worse.
From really old like tape video, where it was widescreen. Now we've got thin video on phones, on these brand new phones.
The next song we're going to talk about is Land of the Free by The Killers. It's a music video. It was heavily political. They showed the caravans down south at the border, and the Border Patrol kind of throwing the tear gas on them and things like that. And then they showed some immigrants, just close-ups of their faces, which is good because it really captured the emotion. And I felt like overall this was a very well-made video.
It was very well made, and I'd say no matter what your political stance on it is, it makes you feel for the people who want to come in and aren't trying to cause any trouble. It makes you feel something for them. Not necessarily a political move, but just you can sympathize with those people.
Yeah. It was well done. I thought it was interesting, and it's interesting to see kind of a different perspective that's not news cover something like this.
Yeah.
In my mind, because news really, it just takes one perspective, and this was, like an American perspective. But when you take something and you bring it onto the other side of, the border, it was interesting. So.
The last one that we're going to talk about for music videos is Lie to Me by 5 Seconds of Summer. This was recorded and it looked like some sort of racing arena. I don't know if that's for NASCAR or what sort of race it was supposed to be. And it
looked like a demolition derby.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah.
And there was old-fashioned cars wrecking into each other and driving around.
Which is why I thought it was a demolition derby.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be honest. So he's singing in the car, and as he's singing, I'm watching this music video, and he puts his hands on the seats in front of him because he's sitting in the back seat. And David didn't realize this is the first time we saw it, but he has his nails painted red, except for his pointer fingers. I don't know why you didn't. If you're gonna paint your nails as a male,
wait, seriously,
you might
I
as well
didn't notice
paint
that.
all your nails. And he didn't have his pointer fingers painted.
You really were.
Every other nail was painted. Man, it was and they were like a bright red, When you highlight something in red on Word, that's the color his nails were. It was awful. And I could not stop looking at that. At one point he's playing on the guitar. That's all I was looking at. I wasn't looking at everything else. I was just looking at that. Then on top of that, what really bothered me is the cars are coming. If you are dedicated to making a video and being successful as a band, you're not going to cut to a band circling around. He was in the back of that car, and then they show the cars hit it. Now he's not in that car anymore because now he's singing with the band. I thought it would have been sweet if they had a camera connected to that, like to the front seat of that car. And I know I'm getting like super into this, but if they had that and then they had him spinning, or even just have the camera spin to make it look like they're spinning. There's so much they could have done with that, and they didn't do it. And I just hated this music video. That's all. I'm done with my rant. I'm done with my 10-minute rant. That's all.
So I didn't even notice the fingernails at all. And what I'll say for this music video is it had one cool visual. One. Singular. Normally, a music video has, like, cool thing after cool thing. This had one, and it just repeated the cars, and it looked cool. But that was one. That's it. I'm not upset.
Paint all your fingernails if you're going to paint them.
And it's a good song.
Yeah, I enjoyed this song. I just totally peaked. No, I enjoyed the song. It's just the music video was awful.
And that concludes the Sunken Submarine podcast number 1 of season 2.
Episode 1 of season 2 feels good.
It's like a real establishment now.
I love it. I
do too, and we got our folks on YouTube listening to us.
Yeah.
We're sorry you can't hear the music between the cuts, but we'll get copyright striked. But for you on iTunes, you can hear that.
Yes. iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is.
They're just transitions. You're not missing much.
Yeah, definitely. You're still getting the full episode on YouTube. So, anyways, David, we have to get the song request in before we settle up here.
So the song I have for you is one that I heard over break. I have a couple that I did, but the first one I'm going to give you is called Choke.
Choke by?
I don't know how, but they found me.
Okay.
That's the name of the band.
I will give it a listen to for next week. Anyways, for this week, so long. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yes. T-Series ain't nothing but
lasagna.
R.I.P. John Lennon.
R.I.P. John Lennon. We will be rooting for you this whole season.
We love you all, and we'll see you for the rest of the season, baby.
Bye-bye.